Yeah, so I think we are on lecture 5, and we are discussing now paragraph 2 of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. Last lecture we discussed about the definition of devotion, Uttama Bhakti, and I basically presented this fact that in defining Uttama Bhakti, the way of presentation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was very unique. It's actually worthwhile emphasizing again that in this, what is the uniqueness of this book? The presentation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which is so easy, not only language but the presentation part. I told Vishwanath Thakur analyzed the definition of devotion by the number 2. He divides everything into 2. And now in this paragraph, second paragraph, he is talking about 3 types of devotion. And here we can see the choice of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And I already mentioned it's a very small book. He generally, Vishwanath Thakur, he has chosen just 8 verses from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, such a big book of Rupa Goswami, and he has chosen 8 verses in comparison to hundreds of verses in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu composed by Rupa Goswami or selected from various scriptures by Rupa Goswami. Now, besides these 8 verses, he has also included some other verses from Nectar of Devotion and some small sections, some small few lines here and there from Rupa Goswami. Now here he has chosen another very important verse from Nectar of Devotion, and which is very unique to actually make us understand why there are 3 types of devotion. He is coming to this concept of 3 types of devotion. Now he is saying Sa Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti iti Trividha. There are 3 types of devotion: Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. And now he discusses this fact, why there are 3 types of devotion, why not just 2, why not just Sadhana Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. It's simple, do sadhana to achieve prema. What's this Bhava Bhakti doing here? And he wants to bring the implications of this point, why Rupa Goswami has included Bhava Bhakti, and you can see his choice, why he is choosing this verse, why he is choosing this concept to be discussed in such a small book, because he is a fighter. I told Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a fighter. This whole book, one of the themes of this book is to fight misconceptions, which I have discussed in almost the first or second lecture of this course. He was fighting with misconceptions of Sahajism, caste Goswamis, the ordinary religious pandits, and also misconceptions coming from other Vaishnava Sampradayas which we were trying to include, which we were trying to misconceive in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He was a fighter, and he chose this verse, and he wants to make a point that sadhana bhakti, going from sadhana bhakti to prema bhakti, it's a transition. It's not just a smooth run, sadhana you go to prema. And for that he is quoting a verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is 2.1.276, and he is quoting this verse: Utpanna ratya samyak nairvignyam anupagatah Krishna sakshat kritau yogya sadhaka parikirtata. He is defining who is a sadhak, very important. Our whole devotion is sadhana and sadhya. Who is a sadhak? Who is doing sadhana? But then, who is a sadhak? A sadhak is not just a person who is doing sadhana. Sadhak can be a person who is also having bhava. And he's mentioning in this point that a sadhak is a person who has developed attraction for Krishna. Utpanna ratya samyak. There are certain sadhakas who have not developed attraction for Krishna. Just like us. We don't have attraction for Krishna, but we are trying to do, we might have some minimal attraction, but it's not samyak, it's not complete attraction for Krishna. Our attraction goes up and down. But Rupa Goswami, Vishwanath Thakur is quoting this verse to tell us there is another type of sadhak who has developed complete attraction for Krishna. Krishna Shakshat Krita Yogya. He is qualified to attain darshan of Krishna. He is qualified. But Nairvagnyam Anupgataha. But there are some obstacles still left in his achieving prema. He is a sadhak. Now this kind of bhakti is not sadhana bhakti, it is bhava bhakti, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Bhava bhakti is a stage, unlike sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, you don't have attraction for Krishna, or even if you have, it's not fully developed. But in sadhana bhakti, you still have obstacles, anarthas in your heart. In prema bhakti, you have developed complete attraction, there are no anarthas. But there is an interim stage, bhava bhakti, where you have attraction for Krishna, complete, but still there are obstacles. Now what kind of obstacles these people have? They have developed complete attraction, Krishna is happy with them, but still they don't have love of God. What's the problem? And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions, apradha kaschit apradhasya kaschan bhaga avashishta. There are some offenses left from previous life which are obstructing that person to transit from bhava bhakti to prema bhakti. Some offenses. Now, here is the point now. Vishwanath Thakur is making a point. Why is making this point? Because he wants to fight with Sahajism. And he is making this point. He is saying, you see, do not think prema is easy to achieve. By including bhava bhakti here, in between sadhana and prema bhakti, Rupa Goswami and Vishwanath Thakur, Rupa Goswami has included this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is bringing this point, this implication, why Rupa Goswami did like this, to tell us that prema is not easy to achieve. Sahajias think prema is easy to achieve. Now here Vishwanath Thakur says, you see, even if you get true symptoms of bhava, true symptoms, he's crying, he's having all asht satvik vikar, even if you have true symptoms of bhava, still you might not have achieved prema. That is the implication here. Then what do you talk about? False symptoms of bhakti. If you go to Bengal, people are doing kirtan, and when they do kirtans, there are tears, they are weeping, they have become unconscious, they have just practiced. We are not talking about that. And they think we have got prema. We are talking about a person who is genuinely having bhava bhakti symptoms. As soon as he sees Krishna, there are tears in his eyes, there is horripilations on his body, that person might become unconscious. It's not fake. Now, has he achieved prema bhakti? Might not be. You can't conclude. He might have achieved bhava bhakti. Bharat Maharaj in Bhagavatam, he was at the platform of bhava bhakti and not prema bhakti, and that's why he fell down. So from the platform of bhava bhakti, there are all chances of falling down, because still you have not achieved prema bhakti. What's the problem? There are some unforeseen obstacles which you can't see from previous lives. There are some offenses left, avashishta, apradha avashishta. You don't know. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is targeting Sahajiyas that you are fool. You think you have prema with these fake symptoms, even with true symptoms of bhava, we say you don't have prema. You might not have prema. In other words, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is advising us to be humble, always to be humble. Not that we get some tears in our eyes and we think, oh, we are advanced. No, because at the level of sadhana bhakti also you can get some tears, but those are all shadow symptoms of bhava bhakti. But even if you are on bhava bhakti, Vishwanath Thakur is advising you should be humble enough, because you don't know what kind of aparadh or offenses are there from previous lives. You have no idea, some Vaishnava offense which is obstructing. some offense against Krishna, something is obstructing your path. So be humble. At the same time, Vishwanath Thakur says, have enthusiasm, determination and patience. And never think I have attained prema, even if you have attained the symptoms of bhava, because when you get symptoms of bhava, you might seem you have attained prema. You might think it's natural for a conditioned souls like that. But for elevated souls, even if they attain prema, they think I have not attained prema, love of God. That's a reverse. And that's why this stage of bhava bhakti is there. So another implication by Vishwanath Thakur is quoting here this concept of bhava bhakti, that be humble, be determined and be patient. And then another point which he's targeting Sahajiyas, and he's saying that I'll just keep it here. And he's saying that the aim of sadhana is bhava. Aim of sadhana is bhava and not prema. Remember that. This is a very important point. So all Sahajiyas will talk about is Krishna Prem Pumarto Mahan. Our aim is love. That's okay. But that's a long-term goal. Immediate goal is bhava. And that is why Rupa Goswami defines sadhana as Kriti sadhe bhavet sadhe bhava sa sadhana vida. The aim of your practice of devotion is bhava and not prema. And that's very important to understand. What Vishwanath Thakur is saying, don't jump to prema. Don't jump. It's not good to jump. And that is, and Vishwanath Thakur uses the word here, he uses the Sanskrit word here, parastam, that defeated. You see, I was telling, Vishwanath Thakur is a fighter and he uses such terminology in his work of Bhakti Rasa Sindhu Bindu again and again. Parastam, nirastam, I have defeated. This concept is defeated. This concept is defeated. He's trying to fight all these misconceptions, and he's saying Sahajiyas, they jump in prema. But as far as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we understand who Rupa Goswami works. We don't jump, and we know that before prema there is a stage of bhava where we want to achieve that, and then we will target prema in the next. And so by saying this, Vishwanath Thakur is recommending us elevation is gradual. It's not one day job. It takes time. Elevation is gradual. There is krama, step by step method to elevate yourself. And that's why in the third paragraph he quotes from Rupa Goswami directly 2 verses. Adav Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sang Adha Bhajana Kriya Tatha Narthi Vritti Syat Tatho Nishtha Ruchis Tatha Atha Asakti Bhava Tatha Prema Vidanchati Sadhaka Namam Premna Pradurbhave Bhavet Krama. He quotes these 2 verses. What are the steps leading to prema? So we have to understand this step by step. That's the implication which Rupa Goswami is bringing. Sadhana, bhava and prema bhakti. Understand these steps. And what Vishwanath Thakur, these 2 verses from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.4.15 and 16, and he gives an insight into these 2 verses. He says, you see, the first verse is talking about you're trying to elevate yourself, and the first verse is talking about elevation through using intelligence, and the second verse is talking about elevation using rasa, taste of devotion. Now what he means is, you see, the first verse gives you 4 steps. Adav Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sang Atha Bhajana Kriya, and then he says Tatho Anarth Nivritti Syat Nishtha Ruchi, 5 steps or 4 steps. 4 steps if you include, if you don't include Shraddha. Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi. Sorry, 6 steps. But if you don't want to include Shraddha, it's 5 steps, not 4 or 5. So till Ruchi. So first you take Sadhu Sang, association of devotees. First you have faith, then you take Sadhu Sang, association of devotees. Then you do Bhajana Kriya. In Sadhu Sang you learn how to do bhajan. You get trained. You get trained in the definition of devotion, Uttama Bhakti. And then after practicing bhajan, then you get nishtha. Nishtha means determination in devotion. Determination which is based on the knowledge, firm knowledge of scriptures, not sentimental. And then, sorry, before nishtha you have anartha nivritti. When you do bhajan, all your anarthas will get destroyed. Most of your anarthas will get destroyed. Anarthas means काम, क्रोध, lust, anger, greed, they get destroyed. And when they are almost destroyed, then you are at the platform of nishtha, determination, and then ruchi, interest in devotion. Now till here, this is the first verse, till here you have to advance using your intelligence. It's very important. That's why one of the term in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, Krishna uses the word buddhi yoga. Prabhupada translates buddhi yoga as bhakti yoga. Why? Because initial stages of bhakti, you need you to use your intelligence, your vivek, which is provided by scriptures, to safeguard yourself from from distractions in devotion, to understand philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and to advance and to know your goal, your long-term goal, immediate goal. These are the steps. So, but then after this, atha asakti. After this, 3 steps, atha asakti, bhavas tatha prema abhidanchita. Then is, after interest, you go to atha. Now, Rupa Goswami says, next verse. This is 1, 4, 15th verse till ruchi. After that, 16th. Now you will develop asakti, attachment, which will grow into bhava, emotions, condensed emotions, true emotions, which will then mature into love. So at this level, you don't use intelligence, now you use rasa. Your attachment which produces rasa or divine mellows, that becomes the boat to go to love of God. So you see what Vishwanath Thakur is giving insight. He is cancelling Sahajism. What Sahajis will say? Okay, come to Vrindavan, read big pastimes of Radha Krishna, and experience rasa and advance. Vishwanath says, nonsense. This is wrong. Buddhi purvakayam. That's what he says. Initial stages of devotion you advanced using intelligence, not emotions, because you don't know what you don't know what are true emotions. We have experience of false emotions, material emotions, all kind of mundane feelings, sentimental people. So Vishwanath Thakur is just cancelling all sentimental people who say, oh, just taste Krishna conscious, advance. No, he's saying buddhi purvakam. Use your intelligence. And when you advance to the level of nishtha, ruchi, then you come to a platform of asakti. When you are truly attached to Krishna, then you can use swarasiki, then you can use rasa as a boat, as a sadhan to advance. So previous to attachment to Krishna, your sadhan, your means, your boat to advance is intelligence, your means. And after developing attachment, your means is your ras. Because when you develop attachment to Krishna, Krishna is also attached to you. It's not just I am attached to Krishna, it's both ways. And then you start experiencing a rasa. Rasa means a divine mellows, spiritual sentiments. And how do we know that's a spiritual sentiments? Because you will start feeling separation from Krishna. The immediate symptom of attachment is separation from Krishna. And how do you know you are feeling true genuine separation from Krishna? Because you will not feel separation from material world. That means you attain vairagya, total detachment. Your mind will not go into material world. If your mind is still going into material world and then Krishna, that's not asakti, that you are below that. Then you have to use your intelligence. And that's very important point which Vishwanath Thakur is bringing here to cancel Sahajism. And that's why he discusses this second and third para in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.